Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So today I'm going to be filming a plant with me video, but it's also a question and answer video. I've never done this type of content before, and I'm honestly kind of nervous. I'm like having hot flashes and I'm like hesitating to start filming, but I need to get more comfortable just like filming casual stuff on camera. I'm kind of a perfectionist and I need to get over that. I just want to remind you guys to please subscribe if you haven't already, just so you don't miss out any of my content if you enjoy watching it. And also like the video if you like it. That really helps out my channel a lot and helps other people find my videos. I'm going to get into potting up these plants and answering some of your juicy questions. All the plants that I'm potting up really like well-draining soil. So the soil that I have here is just a combination of cactus soil, pumice, and orchid bark, and I don't measure anything. I just kind of throw it all in, mix it up. I'm gonna be potting up a string of bananas, and that's this guy right here. And it's been propagating for a month or two. I'm also potting up my Monstera deliciosa. This is a plant that my best friend gave me, and it has a little baby. There's a baby on board. And we also have a Christmas cactus. And I mentioned this plant in my last video. The link to it will be up above. I talk about how to identify the different types of holiday cactus and also how to get them to bloom. So I'm gonna be potting up all of these plants in the same type of soil since they are all plants that really like well-draining soil, so it just is very convenient to use just the same type for all of them. But of course your soil does depend on the type of plant that you're planting up. All right, so we're gonna get into potting and answering your questions. So let's see. Oh, and if you wanna be a part of the next question and answer, make sure to follow me on Instagram because that's where I asked for your questions. Okay, so plant seed with hash. I like your username. When using chemical pest control on soil, do you worry about touching the soil or plant after? Well, to start, before I answer your question, I'm first gonna pot up the string of bananas. So I try not to use chemicals if I can avoid it. I try to use like insecticidal soap or neem oil, but on the rare occasion if I do use like a pesticide that is harmful to me or my pets, I keep it away from my pets first of all, and I don't touch it. So yeah, I guess that to answer your question, yes, I do try to avoid touching the soil, even though I wouldn't typically touch it unless I was feeling how dry it is. So Plants Are Life asked me how my plant journey began, and it began when I first started watching Garden Answer. She is amazing. Laura, I'm a big fan if by some rare chance you're watching this video, and she got me into plants when she was doing succulent hauls, and I started off collecting succulents. So that's pretty much how the obsession began, and I had a huge succulent collection for about a year, and I just didn't want to pay for the grow light bill, so I stopped collecting them. And I also kept them in my basement, and I prefer like living amongst my plants, so I decided to go for plants that would thrive just in my natural sunlight that I can provide. So Blissfully Simple asked, is YouTube your only job? If not, what do you do? Love your home. Thank you very much. So YouTube is not my only job. I actually got a few people asking me what I do for my full-time job. And basically I work for a media company. We do media and web design. So I work in the digital media department, and I'm in charge of like social media for our clients and internal social media. So I make like videos for clients and ourselves. I make graphics and just social media kind of stuff. So that's what I do full time, and YouTube is more of like a passion project, I guess. So we have our first plant potted up. What I wanted to mention was when I'm potting up these plants, I make sure I use a pot that isn't super large. I kind of just look at the root system and I kind of assess how much room it will need to grow. This pot is probably a little bit too large for this plant, to be honest, but I didn't want the pot to be too super small since this plant is so long. and I didn't want it to be really heavy and then the pot potentially wouldn't be able to support it. So that's the size that I chose. We'll see how it does. So we're gonna move on to potting up my Christmas cactus. I'm using a very tiny pot because these roots are super tiny. I hope it does well in this pot. I'm sure it'll be fine. But I have propagated Christmas cacti with water before and I left it in for too long and they rotted. So I want to get it out of water before that happens. I'm not really sure why it started to rot before, but just make sure if you do propagate your Christmas cacti or any type of holiday cactus that when you take your cuttings, you let the plant dry out for a few days where you made your cut, or if you twist off the leaf, it'll just be less of a chance that it would rot. All right, so we're gonna start answering more questions. Mary J's Plants asked me, and by the way, she has a YouTube channel and she is really sweet and she's really funny. So I'll link her channel down below if you want more plant YouTubers to watch. There's a lot of good ones out there. So she asked me something that's kind of controversial, in my opinion. Have you trashed any plants because you didn't like them anymore? I am hesitant to admit that I have. I've gone through many plants that didn't do well in my house because they required a lot of humidity and I couldn't provide it. So just off the top of my head, like so many types of begonias didn't do well. And there were a few plants that I had outside last like fall, winter, and I forgot to bring them inside when the frost hit and they died. I just got overwhelmed and I had too many plants inside already, so I just let them die. Yeah, hopefully I don't offend anyone because I know that is wasteful, but I'm a lot more deliberate with my plant purchases now, and I have to admit I have been addicted to purchasing plants and other items in the past. So I'm trying to be more mindful when it comes to what I am purchasing in my life. So that has helped a lot with controlling the size of my collection. And I really am proud of the size and how I'm able to keep it pretty simple. I feel less stress and I just feel more balance in my life when I keep my things that I have in my home to a minimum, whatever that means to you, it's up to you. So yeah, that's what I do and it works for me. I had a few people ask me about the mascara that I use. So Peach Kikai, sorry by the way if I pronounce your username wrong. She asked me what my mascara was, and I use Better Than Sex mascara, and then also there's another one, and I will write it on the screen because I do not remember. There's two different types that I will use at the same time. So yeah, I really like having long lashes. Palm and Plant Lover, she asked me, what's your favorite plant family? Obviously Hoyas. I'm assuming that's would be considered the family. Oh, by the way, I'm struggling with this cacti. It's not cooperating. But Hoyas are most definitely my favorite. They just really thrive in my home and I feel like they're just really easy to care for. And that honestly does it for me. If you're an easy to care plant, like we're gonna be friends, we're gonna hang out, and I'm your mom. Why am I so weird? But yeah, if you're an easy to care plant, then I'm all about that. I get very frustrated when you spend any dollar amount on a plant and it doesn't thrive in your house, but you know, that's the learning process and we all gotta go through it. If you're gonna collect plants, you have to kind of do trial and error. Okay, so Carmen Whitehead Design asked me how many plants do I have now? So I think I have about like 80 plants. And the reason that the number might be smaller than you thought it would be is because I do give plants to friends and family. Okay, I'm moving on from this guy. He is frustrating and he's not staying in place. I do give plants to friends and family when I no longer love them, or if like my friend or family member really likes that plant. So yeah, that kind of helps me keep it at a minimum. I also have been known in my neighborhood to put out free plants. So if I make propagations during the summer in my propagation box, then I have like multiples of the same plant. And of course I don't need multiple. So I just give them to people for free. I put a table at the end of my driveway and people can just pick them up. And it has made a lot of my neighbors really excited and happy, and I don't know, I might do it every year. I've done it twice for the past 2 years, and people seem to really like that. I prefer doing it rather than like selling them, because I think it's kind of nice to kind of spread the plant love by just giving them away. So that's the way that I like to do it. I forgot to mention that to prevent the soil from falling out of the pot, because I have drainage in all of my pots, I'm just using this plastic mesh that I got from the Home Depot. It comes in a roll. So that's how I prevent the soil from falling out of the pot. Okay, my hands are getting super muddy. My phone is not gonna like that. So Allie's Plants, she also has a YouTube channel. I'll link it down below. She asked me, what's the story of your dogs? How did you get them? What are they like? So I got both of my dogs from the Humane Society in Massachusetts. Chloe was my first dog, and the moment I saw her, I fell in love. Like, it was the first, maybe the second day actually, that I looked for a dog. I looked into her eyes and I just knew, like, she's mine. She just was so affectionate. She would like put her paw out and reach out to me if the person at the Humane Society was holding her, and we just really bonded. So I got her that same day. I was approved, and she's been my baby for like 4 years. And if you saw in one of my other videos, I let you know that her nickname is Kirsten Stewart. And you guys thought that was pretty funny because I say it like Kirsten Stewart. So that is her name that I use most of the time. Chloe's kind of her formal name, I guess. Kirsten Stewart's her everyday name. Kona I also got from the Humane Society. So they get along really well, and they are best friends, and they cuddle all the time, and it's really cute. So I also wanted to let you guys know that originally I wanted to make this like a wine repot with me question and answer video, but it's the middle of the day and I just couldn't get myself to do that. I do plan on filming a video where I drink wine and talk about plants, because I just thought that would be fun, and I've never done that on my channel. So give this video a thumbs up if you would like to see me do that. I think it might be kind of fun. Those Leaves though asked me, do you have a hard time grappling between minimalism and buying more plants? I know I do. So I definitely used to have a hard time keeping my plant collection small, but I just found that taking a break from filming YouTube videos, kind of taking a break from social media a little bit, and just like removing myself from that world really helped. And I don't know what it is. Like, it's like as if like a switch just like turned off inside of me, and like I have no desire to buy any plants at the moment. I think another part of that is I do think about moving sometimes, like moving at some point, and I don't want to have like a crazy collection if I ever move. And I personally just like the look of a smaller collection. Like, I go to my sister's place. She lives in New Hampshire, and she has maybe like 5 or 6 plants. And since she has such a small amount, it's like every plant is really highlighted, and you can really appreciate each plant because you don't feel overwhelmed by like hundreds of plants. And I kind of like just that more minimal plant kind of aesthetic. It honestly hasn't been hard recently. So like, I would say if you have a problem buying too many plants, maybe spend a little less time on social media. Just be really thankful for what you already have, and I don't know, it might help you out. It really helped me by kind of removing myself from that world. Even though right now you're on social media watching me, I appreciate it. It is good to kind of step back and like do other things and be with your friends, be with your family, find out what other passions you have, because life isn't about buying the newest plant. Like, it's not about shopping all the time. That's what I'm trying to say. If you like to do that, that's totally fine, but I have a really negative feeling when it comes to always wanting more and more, and I've made many videos about that, and it's a very unsatisfying feeling when you always are looking for more, and I don't like that feeling personally. So if you also have those types of feelings when it comes to consumerism, I would try to change your behavior and find out what triggers you. Social media definitely triggers many of us because you feel like you want to fit in and you want to stand out and you want to be seen. I don't know, there's multiple reasons why people shop a lot and post about it online. And if it's coming from like a more unhealthy, negative space, you might want to reevaluate your behavior. I don't know if that makes sense. Anyway, I'm kind of like rambling on. Mary J's Plants also asked me, what other hobbies do I have? I enjoy running a lot. I enjoy being with my dogs. That's not really a hobby. I do enjoy cooking and baking. Becca de la Plants, she asked me something. By the way, Becca is absolutely so charming. I love her channel. I'm sure many of you already know Becca, but she's like so fun to watch, and you kind of feel like you're just hanging out with her. So Becca, if you're watching this, I see you, girl. I love your content. She asked me, why do you own plants? And I guess I own them because they bring me joy, and that's pretty much it. They just bring me joy, and I love this community. And she also asked me, did you go to college? If so, what did you study? So I did go to college. That's actually what brought me to Massachusetts. And I studied food and nutrition, and I worked as a nutritionist for 2 years, and I absolutely hated it. It was a very difficult job. It was very stressful, and I didn't have a lot of free time. So now I'm more happy in my current job. So yeah, I did go to college. I have my nutrition degree, and I'm not using it right now, so that's great. Allie loves plants. I love plants. Asked me, what do you see yourself doing in 5 years plant related? I honestly am not sure. I would love to have my own business, maybe sustain myself off of YouTube. I do love my current job, so I'd love to continue doing both, but I would like to make my YouTube channel more of like a serious thing. Even it's serious now, but it's more of like a hobby. So I really don't know. I haven't really thought about it, so that really gave me something to think about. Jenny in the Plants, she asked me, do you plan to live in Mass for a long time? Are you looking at other states? So I definitely have considered moving to other states, and I'm not gonna lie, it's kind of stressful to think, like just the thought of moving with all my plants really stresses me out. So I don't know if I would sell a lot of my plants. I probably would, because I'm a very anxious person, and I would be really nervous that plants would get damaged, and just the whole process sounds awful. So I do want to move at some point. I definitely don't want to live in Massachusetts indefinitely, but it sounds very daunting to me, so I would really need to prepare mentally for that change. And I really do love like my house and being relatively close to my family, so not really sure. We'll see. So this girl cracked me up. I posted on Instagram like not too long ago that I was taking last minute questions, and Planting the World Red asked me many questions, and I might make a part 2 to this. I'm not sure, maybe I'll drink in part 2. Leave this video a like if you want me to drink in the maybe part 2 of this video. Maybe I'll end this video with an embarrassing story, because she asked me to tell you guys an embarrassing story. So props to you if you made it this far in the video. But basically I have like one embarrassing story that's like a classic of mine. I'm not much of like a storyteller. I'm kind of quiet and keep to myself. But I have this one story that I pull out of my pocket every once in a while. So basically, when I was in middle school, I was becoming a woman, as we might say, and I was very interested in wearing a bra. So I wore my very first push-up bra to school. I'm pretty sure it was push-up. It could have just been like a normal bra. And it was so uncomfortable because, let me tell ya, I was very flat and it probably didn't fit me right. And it was from Limited 2. Do we have any Limited 2 babies out there? So I was very uncomfortable. I just felt it all day, and I went in the bathroom, took my bra off, and I put it in my backpack. So then I got on the bus and I had to get something from my bag, so I took it out. And then for some reason I decided to switch seats. So I got up, switched seats, was talking to my friends, and then this boy on the bus who was kind of like a bully, he was kind of like just like a mean boy, he was just kind of always trying to instigate things, holds up this bra that was mine and is like, oh my god, whose bra is this? And I was mortified, and then he was like, whose boobs would fit in this bra? Like, whose bra is this? And I was so so nervous that he was gonna know it was me, even though how would he know? There's like plenty of girls in the bus. And I kept my mouth shut. I'm sure my face was really red. And so anyway, the bus starts like moving. He takes the bra, he's like flailing it out of the window. Eventually he just like throws it out of the window and it's gone. And yeah, that's pretty much the end of that. But no one ever found out that it was my bra. As like, how old would I have been? Like 10, 11. I was absolutely mortified, and then I lost my very first bra. I think I wore it like one time. And yeah, that was pretty embarrassing for a tween. Yeah, so I hope you enjoyed that. If you made it this far and you heard my story, in the comment down below, write bus ride or something that alludes to that story so I know that you heard it. And yeah. So anyway guys, like I mentioned before, if you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. That really helps out my channel. And subscribe if you haven't already. That also really helps out my channel. I noticed that a lot of my viewers are not subscribed, so that would be really appreciated. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this type of content. Also let me know if you liked it or if you didn't like it. I know it's a little different for me to film this type of a video. But anyway, I hope you're having a great rest of your week, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye!